What am I supposed to tell you coming out of Monday Night Raw here tonight, ladies and gentlemen? I have no goddamn idea what to come on here and say because, quite frankly, I'm going to be coming on here and saying the same thing I said last week, the same thing I said the week before, the week before, the week before, the week before. This show was garbage here tonight. Does that come to a surprise to anybody? No, not really. Wow, I'm really shocked by that answer right there. It was your Money in the Bank Go Home show here tonight on Monday Night Raw, and what can I tell you? Monday, June 11th, 2018 edition of Monday Night Raw, and we saw a bunch of crap that, WWE could have realistically put on a very decent go-home show here tonight. Instead, they gave you a Monday Night Raw filled with tomfoolery to the illest degree, and quite frankly, here tonight, all we saw was an exhausting show. That's what I would classify this show as, exhausting. I'm exhausted right now after watching this show. I want to go straight to bed, and I want to finish this review as fast as possible. Is that going to stop me from giving you an hour probably on this review? Probably not, because I always go 50 minutes or some odd number like that on Monday Night Raw. Unfortunately, I ramble on and on and on, but that's besides the point, because the end result is always going to be the same, and we're always going to be telling you right here on the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel. I'm always going to be telling you, Joel Perez, look at that little intro, nice little way to fit the intro in there, except that it's not nice anymore because I'm pointing it out, but that is besides the point. Monday Night Raw, it's always going to be the same result. We're always going to end up telling you that this show sucked here tonight, because as long as WWE is making all this money and as long as they're on the top of the totem pole, it doesn't matter how many people are showing up to the shows, it doesn't matter how many people are tuning into the show each and every single week, and it doesn't matter what the hell you're saying on social media, they're making more money than ever. So quite frankly, they don't care what you think. And if you're a fan of the product, that is something that upsets the hell out of you, because that means you're going to continue to get content like, and here comes the list of things we saw on Monday Night Raw here tonight. Anyways, we've seen all 8 Money in the Bank contestants from Monday Night Raw, both men and women, on ladders to start off the show here tonight, giving the most cringeworthy middle school delivery of overly scripted lines that you can ever goddamn imagine. Alexa Bliss giving you a shriek that will break your goddamn eardrums. I kid you not, I shit you not, is a better phrase for that one. All these, I guess, children bickering across from each other, and just a terrible segment to start off the show to build towards Money in the Bank. Another thing that we saw here tonight was Jinder Mahal coming out and calling out Roman Reigns and saying that we were going to see Jinder Mahal versus Roman Reigns, challenging Roman Reigns here tonight to a matchup, directly saying, it's going to be me against you, Roman. Why wait till Money in the Bank? Well, one, that makes no sense, because why would Kurt Angle allow them to give away a matchup that we're going to see at the pay-per-view on free television? And second, it makes no sense because Jinder Mahal was directly stating that he will step in the ring against Roman Reigns, and then he wants to tease the fact that it's going to be the Great Khali of all people who's stepping in the ring of Roman Reigns, but instead it is quote-unquote the Great Sunil Singh. You've got to be kidding me with that one. We had American Ninja Warrior make a special guest appearance on Monday Night Raw here tonight when Sami Zayn assembled an obstacle course for Bobby Lashley on Monday Night Raw, and we saw Bobby Lashley compete in this obstacle course like if this is some type of goddamn game show. I'm sorry, but we're not trying to win our family a free car, even though it seems like that's what Bobby Lashley is. It seems like Bobby Lashley's on a game show. Actually, that's a great comparison. It really, really is. He's coming out. He's talking about his family. I guess that's supposed to invest the audience and get the audience behind him, right? Because you want the person to get the audience behind them so they can win the game show, right? Is this a game show? Is Bobby Lashley trying to bring home a free car? Is that what we're getting here? You've got to be kidding me with this one. We had Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler come out here tonight and pretty much directly state that your tag team division is a joke, which comes across as if WWE themselves knows that this tag team division is worthless, which it is, by the way, if you don't get the deal. Bayley versus Ruby Riott. Bayley looks like an absolute ditz again here tonight, losing on Monday Night Raw. I mean, what can I tell you? What can I tell you? You want me to talk positive? You want me to talk positive? Well, let me tell you, there was some positive here tonight on Monday Night Raw. Because I'm not all negative. I'm here to give you my honest opinion. We saw a great Fatal 4-Way from both the men and the women here tonight. The women started off the show with their Fatal 4-Way, and that was great. And the men ended off the show with their Fatal 4-Way, and that was great. So I'll give WWE that. They gave us some good Fatal 4-Ways. Is that going to prevent me from pointing out the fact that there's nothing on the line in these Fatal 4-Ways? And this is just another petty attempt for WWE to get all the Money in the Bank contestants in the same match, or at least in the same vicinity of each other, just because that's the way they feel that they're actually building towards Money in the Bank? I mean, is that going to stop me from pointing that out? No. No, because that was clearly what's at hand here tonight. But I'm not going to refrain from saying that they were great matches, because they were, but they made no sense. They shouldn't have been happening. Another thing that was positive here tonight, Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey sounded the best she's ever sounded. Did not sound scripted at all here tonight. She gave a passionate promo, great delivery, and she looked like a badass here tonight. And they actually incorporated some backstory from her UFC past here tonight on Monday Night Raw. Is that going to stop me from telling you that this feud with Nia Jax is an absolute worthless piece of crap? No, it's not, because it is an absolute worthless piece of crap. You have Nia Jax flipping back and forth from babyface to heel, just for the sake of doing this, probably just because Ronda's going into the UFC Hall of Fame, and they want Ronda to walk into the UFC Hall of Fame with that Raw Women's Championship, despite the fact that Ronda's only been on television for, 4 months, and has only been in one match, hasn't even been in a singles match yet she's getting a Raw Women's Championship opportunity? Are you kidding me with that? That makes no sense. That makes no sense at all. It makes no sense at all. But I mean, is that going to stop me from telling you that Ronda Rousey still put on some good stuff here tonight as far as her mic skills go, and she's showing progression as far as that part of her game goes? Yes, I am going to tell you that. So there were some positives to Monday Night Raw here tonight. But here's the kicker. This is a 3-hour show. There's about 10 segments on this show. And the fact that I can tell you that none of these segments were worthwhile, maybe 1 or 2 highlights or 3 highlights here tonight on Monday Night Raw, and all those highlights, even those segments that I told you were good, even those matches that I told you were good, they still have an asterisk right next to it. And quite frankly, I just went over pretty much the entire show, not in detail, but I just pretty much went over the entire show right there, right now. And it's disappointing that from a 3-hour show, that is the entire takeaway. That is the entire takeaway for your go-home show where you should be getting excited for Money in the Bank. Did anybody come into this show, or come out of this show, I should say, more excited than they came in? If anything, I came in less excited. My excitement level was at 0. Now it's probably at negative infinity. I don't fucking know. This is terrible. This is god-awful. I cannot sit through this garbage another instance. Monday Night Raw continues to be at its worst state in history. And that is a disappointing fact. There's no doubt about that. And that's all I have to say for an opening rant. That is all I have to say. We're going to go over the show in detail. I'm going to talk about everything that I need to talk about. I'm going to hit all the bases. I'm going to tell you to go check out all the other content on the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel. I'm going to subscribe because you damn sure should. I'm going to tell you to like. If you want to dislike, do whatever you want. And I'm going to tell you to comment and leave your opinion on this show right in the comment section below, because that is what I do best right here on the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel. We cover everything regarding the WWE, and of course I want you guys to join in on the ride, join in with the army, and click that subscribe button, because there is so much other content to go check out, and some of that content includes these weekly Monday Night Raw and Smackdown live reviews. A Smackdown live review of which will be uploaded tomorrow. We uploaded Behind the Mic, which is, of course, your weekly episodic news show. Earlier this weekend, we're talking some big news that happened over the weekend. A lot of things going on over this past weekend. One of the biggest things being the CM Punk UFC 225 loss that he took right there. We talk about that. We talk about WWE announcer Corey Graves, who of course was very prevalent on Monday Night Raw, and him displaying backlash towards CM Punk. We address that situation. We talk about WWE still persisting to put Roman Reigns against Brock Lesnar, and that's still being the plan for SummerSlam and the Universal Championship, as well as all of the news that can be found for the week. All the biggest news covered right there on Behind the Mic. You can also go check out 2 videos that have been uploaded over the recent memory on the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel, one of which was uploaded on Saturday, how I would book Raw going into SummerSlam. Of course, WWE has different plans than me, so I'm just giving you my fantasy booking right there. And I also book Smackdown Live going into SummerSlam, so you can catch both of those videos on the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel right now. Of course, if you want to go check those out, great content as well, shorter videos as well. That's something. Those are around 30 to 40 minute range, which is still pretty long for a YouTube video. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, you can go check those out right on the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel right now. And those are some videos that kind of require more creativity and more thinking and more planning and thought. And that's something where you can find a more articulate, calmed down version of me, where we're discussing some more exciting things instead of discussing pretty much the filth that we see each and every single week on Monday Night Raw. But that is besides the point as far as this goes for now, because besides telling you to subscribe, like, comment, dislike, all that good stuff, click the notification bell as well. And actually, before I get into anything, I want to tell you guys to make sure to go check out the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel Instagram account. We have an Instagram account now. Before it was only Twitter, now it's Instagram. We're opening that social media outlook range, and of course, make sure to go check out the Ringside Wrestling Instagram. It is Ringside Wrestling ENT, just like it is on YouTube. No caps, of course. Make sure to go check it out. That is the Instagram handle. If you're watching this Raw review, go check out the Ringside Wrestling ENT Instagram. Make sure to go subscribe. You can get updates and alerts on this channel just like you do right here on YouTube, and we upload some nice pictures on there, so make sure to go check that out. Ringside Wrestling Entertainment Instagram, as well as to go check out the Twitter. That is R Wrestling ENT. Make sure to go check that one out right there. That's the Twitter handle. If not, just type in Ringside Wrestling and hopefully you can find us from right there. Make sure to go check it out. Ringside Wrestling Twitter, Ringside Wrestling Instagram. That is the social media for now. As far as Facebook goes, I'm not really sure if we're going to be getting into that. It's, of course, a lot more work to be managing more social media accounts, but we're going to try it in the near future. We're expanding our horizons, and hopefully you will join us on expanding those horizons. But of course, that is all that for now. For now, we're going to go straight into your Monday Night Raw review. And like I mentioned, Monday Night Raw started with all 8 of the Money in the Bank participants on the Monday Night Raw side. That means 4 women and 4 men on ladders. And this came across as absolutely ridiculous, so unnatural. That is the first thing that popped into my brain when I saw this picture. Braun Strowman, Kevin Owens, Bobby Roode, who the hell else? Bobby Roode and Finn Balor. And then you had, of course, Sasha Banks, Alexa Bliss, Natalya, and Ember Moon all perched on ladders, and they're just all standing there. They're not even sitting on the ladders. They didn't even get comfortable. They're just standing there in the most unnatural ways, looking at the hard cam, smiling or whatever, like if this is some type of overly produced TV show, which to an extent it is, but I mean, this comes across as so scripted. If kayfabe truly is alive, when the hell are you ever going to organize a barrage of superstars and have them peacefully coexist? Superstars who you have been positioning to feud with each other over the past couple weeks, especially by putting them in matches together. They're going to peacefully coexist, standing on these ladders for the time being. And it's not even like they jumped right into the segment. They had these guys just looking around for 2 minutes before Kurt Angle's music finally hit. And Kurt Angle, you already know the deal with him. He sounds like a robot. So this segment came across as absolutely overproduced, unnatural, and of course robotic when Kurt Angle came out and started speaking, and when all the superstars started interacting with each other, when they all started bickering like little children who go to elementary school, who are in kindergarten, who are in the 5th grade at most. I mean, when they all started bickering, it all became cringe, and this was absolutely awful. And when I'm talking about coming out of this show less excited for Money in the Bank, this is exactly what I am talking about. This segment was terrible, terrible, terrible television here tonight, and I'm actually going to play it for you. So if you guys did not watch the show here tonight, you will know why. Here it is, Raw's Money in the Bank ladder match participants all on top of ladders in a segment together here tonight on, of course, your weekly edition of Monday Night Raw. This was terrible.
As the constable of Monday Night Raw,
I completely forgot. We're gonna rag on this. Holy shit.
Well, as the general manager of Monday Night Raw, nothing would make me happier than those 2 contracts coming back to Raw. And if those 2 contracts don't come back to Raw, Stephanie will be deeply disappointed. And we don't want to disappoint Stephanie, do we?
Even though I'm still hurting from my injury last week, I will fight through the pain, grab that contract, and make Stephanie proud.
Alexa.
What?
What exactly hurts on you, sweetheart?
My shoulder?
Your shoulder? I mean, wasn't last week you were, limping out on your leg, walking away like you always do?
You know what? I can be hurting at more places at once, okay?
Alexa, it doesn't matter, because after this Sunday, you're going to be real sore.
Oh, please, Ember. I'm winning the Sunday, sweetheart.
No, I'm going to win that.
Please don't go.
Bickering like children.
Hold up. Natalia, I know you've been cleared by our medical staff to compete after your injury to Nia Jax last week, but are you sure you're ready for this ladder match?
Kurt, yes, I am. I am ready. I am ready to grab that contract and secure a championship match against the soon-to-be Raw Women's Champion, my friend, Ronda Rousey.
Ronda could be the new champion, but I'll be the one cashing in, sweetheart.
Whoa. Okay, we get it. Can we talk about something actually important? Braun Strowman is so much taller than all of us. Are you going to raise the briefcase when he climbs the ladder?
Oh, what, you want the briefcases lowered down to you, Kevin?
Yeah, you know what, Bobby Roode? I think that's a great idea.
Okay.
Kevin Owens is
The
fantastic.
briefcase will be the same height for everyone.
That is blatant favoritism. It's disgusting. Hey, Constable Corbin, first of all, let me say, I love the new haircut. And second of all,
And we will address that.
you have to do something about this. You have to.
Let's cut the constable out of this, and how about I do something about you?
No, see, Constable, how am I supposed to make Stephanie McMahon proud when I'm constantly being threatened?
That's not a threat. It's a promise.
It's a promise, is it? Well, you know what? It sounded like a threat, okay?
Take it how you take it, Kevin. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna shut you up. I'm gonna climb to the top of the ladder, take that contract, and I'm cashing in on Brock Lesnar.
Bickering like children. And that happens.
Alright, y'all need to calm down. Y'all are sounding like the Real Housewives of WWE, alright?
Terrible joke.
Besides, I already know who's gonna win. My mixed match challenge partner, Braun Strowman.
I like that reference.
You're real cute, Alexa. Actually, I have a prediction myself. I think my mixed match challenge partner, Finn Balor, is going to win. What do you think about that, Brock?
Oh, well, thank you, Sasha. You know, if I was to pick one of the women,
Well, thank you, Sasha.
It will be you.
This is pathetic. No one cares who you think's gonna die. I'm gonna win. I'm gonna cash in. It's okay.
Oh my god.
This Sunday, somebody is gonna get these heads.
That segment was completely god-awful garbage. Terrible visual of all these people standing in line with the money on top of the ladders. Terrible visual. Terrible and cringy dialogue. Overly scripted. Unnatural. Just nothing came across as good. But thankfully, we moved on to something that was good. But before we get into that, yes, all the jokes about Baron Corbin going bald have finally been addressed by the man himself. Baron Corbin has shed the long hair, and he has now adopted a little bit of a shorter hairstyle. I urge all of you to go check it out. It looks absolutely hilarious. Baron Corbin, and his hairline is so far back. It's crazy hilarious. I mean, it actually looks good. It looks better than whatever the hell Baron Corbin had going on before. And I guess it does fit the role of Baron Corbin being constable of Monday Night Raw. But he looks absolutely hilarious. I mean, it is a sight for sore eyes. And it was probably the best thing about Monday Night Raw here tonight. Baron Corbin gets his hair cut. But we move on here to something of quality. It was Sasha Banks versus Alexa Bliss versus Ember Moon versus Natalya here tonight on Monday Night Raw. And this was a very good Fatal 4-Way. I mean, these are a very good selection of women who are going to be inside the Money in the Bank ladder match. And there were a lot of false finishes here that led to some very good stuff. Alexa Bliss showed some intensity. She was a highlight of this matchup. And this is the first time Alexa Bliss has been a highlight in a very long time, because we know the torturous Raw Women's Championship reign that she has had. Alexa Bliss is always better when she's up and coming through the ranks, I feel, instead of being the absolute spotlight each and every single week on Monday Night Raw or SmackDown Live. I feel like when she's more on the sidelines as a supporting player, she can really add something to the division, and I feel like that's something that she did here tonight. There was a point where it looked like Sasha Banks was going to win. She had Alexa Bliss in the bank statement. That was broken up by Ember Moon. Ember Moon actually hit an eclipse in this matchup, I believe, on Natalya. She recuperated from that. That was a near fall. Natalya, of course, did come out the winner here. She made Alexa Bliss tap out after locking her in on the sharpshooter, and the matchup was over here tonight, which pretty much means that if you win on the go-home show, this is my mentality, especially after here tonight. If you win and stand tall on the go-home show, you are going to lose at the pay-per-view. I believe that is the mass mentality that you can use when taking regards to especially a predictable show like we saw here tonight. So if Natalya won here tonight, and she is one of the heavily rumored subjects to actually be winning this Money in the Bank ladder match, if she won here tonight, I am not expecting her to win on Sunday. So that eliminates the predictions here. The predictions are Sasha Banks, Ember Moon, Natalya. I'm counting Natalya out since she wins on the Go Home show, and as a matter of fact, I'm actually taking Ember Moon to win that. But by the way, just in a little announcement here tonight for those of you who don't know, every Thursday before the pay-per-view, there is, of course, a preview and prediction show. And actually, there's an NXT TakeOver this Saturday. So Friday and Thursday will be preview and predictions for Money in the Bank. Friday will be preview and predictions for NXT TakeOver Chicago. And NXT TakeOver Chicago will be reviewed on Saturday as well as Money in the Bank being reviewed on Sunday. So it is a big week for uploads here tonight, as well as you can expect a Behind the Mic this Saturday. So that is a total of 7 uploads. Monday Night Raw, SmackDown Live, preview and predictions for Money, preview and predictions for NXT, review and results for NXT, Behind the Mic, and on top of that, you got Money in the Bank review and results. So there you go with it all. It's going to be a big week for content. No better time to subscribe than now. Make sure to go check it all out. But Natalya comes out on top in this matchup, pretty much meaning that she will not go out on top on Sunday. Either way, Kevin Owens approached Finn Balor backstage, and he was trying to persuade these guys the entire night. So he got into the head of Finn Balor a little bit here tonight. I don't know what the deal is with that, but it continues on throughout the night. Breezango versus Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre. Clearly, Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre dominated this affair here tonight. The main thing to note was the promo that they cut after this matchup, because this was a damn good promo from Ziggler and McIntyre. They showed the same aggression that they've been showing over the past couple weeks as far as the matchup goes, but holy shit, they cut a good promo after the matchup, and they pretty much buried the rest of the tag team division. But then again, what are you burying if there is no tag team division to bury? I just brought up a damn good point. Either way, he says, Ziggler does, last week's tag team battle royale was nothing but a fluke. They have put it past them, and so should you. Get over it. Deal with it, Drew says. The carnage on the mat is proof that last week was a fluke. Ziggler goes on and says, unlike everyone in the past, this is not hype. He sends a warning and names other tag teams: Titus Worldwide, the B Team, Raw Tag Team Champions, the Deleter of Worlds. Ziggler tells the others to take a look, because the show starts and stops right here. This is your future. McIntyre says everyone's future is in their hands, because they're not just here to take over, they're here to save this bloody division by taking everyone else out. McIntyre drops the mic and they leave as the music hits. Very good promo right there. Speaking of shitty promos, Roman Reigns was backstage with Charlie Caruso, and she was asking about Jinder Mahal. Reigns knocks Jinder and says he's the only reason why Reigns isn't in the Money in the Bank. Reigns says he won't have the chance to cash in on Brock Lesnar and take back what is quote-unquote rightfully his. No, it's not Reigns. Either way, Reigns says Jinder has everything coming to him tonight. He earned this ass whooping. Reigns goes on and says that it's just time to have fun with Jinder now. Reigns walks off and Cole hypes up the match. We go to Jinder Mahal versus Roman Reigns, and this isn't Jinder Mahal versus Roman Reigns in the slightest, and thank God it is not, because the more you can postpone me having to witness a terrible matchup between Roman Reigns and Jinder Mahal, the better. But believe me, we saw nothing of avail either way here tonight, because it was just Jinder Mahal on the microphone for the longest goddamn time, and that is never a good thing. Jinder Mahal hit the ring here tonight with Sunil Singh, and Jinder says he challenged Reigns to a match tonight to prove a point. He's not nearly as destructible as he thinks he is. Sure, he's main evented WrestleMania events and done this and that, but the winds are changing. Jinder feels it in his bones and can see what we cannot. He sees Reigns suffering out of breath and unable to keep up with the modern day Maharaja at Money in the Bank. Fans boo as Jinder goes on about how he sees Reigns being defeated and exposed on Sunday, and the music interrupts, and out comes Reigns. Singh brings a mic into the ring before the match can begin. Jinder talks trash and stalls as Reigns is ready to fight. Jinder says Reigns isn't facing him tonight. He's facing another great Indian. This Indian towers over every other person on the roster, and he is great. So tonight, Roman Reigns is facing the great, and it sounded like it was going to be the Great Khali, and I wanted to throw myself off a bridge as far as that one went, but thank God WWE actually made this team acceptable here tonight, because it was the great Sunil Singh instead, and this matchup won a total of like 2 minutes. 2 minutes, am I right with that one? But either way, Roman Reigns hit the spear, and it was after the matchup right away that Jinder Mahal was ready to attack Roman Reigns and hit a Colossus. So what did this segment accomplish? Oh, that's right, jack goddamn shit. This segment was irrelevant and pretty much useless on this entire show here tonight. I don't know what it did to further anything Roman Reigns and Jinder Mahal related. Oh, that's right, I have the answer to that question. Nothing. And quite frankly, I cannot wait for this feud to be over, because Roman Reigns, I mean, he's going to continue to be a babyface. There's no doubt about that. But at least he can be feuding with somebody who is of actual equity. Jinder Mahal is garbage. He holds the least equity out of anybody on the entire roster. And at least as soon as you get Roman Reigns feuding with somebody like a Kevin Owens or a Bobby Roode as a heel, you can actually get some good television out of that, because those guys would actually be fantastic heels, getting the right type of heat instead of the go-away heat that Jinder Mahal gets each and every single week. But we move on to more irrelevancies on Monday Night Raw here tonight. It was the B Team versus Rhino and Heath Slater. What can I tell you about this matchup? It was another win for the B Team. They're trying to build up this team, but then again, how are you supposed to build up anything on Monday Night Raw when everything in this tag team division is absolutely dead, and this has no impact on the show? Speaking of things that have no impact on the show, think about this. Roman Reigns has had no impact on the show for like the past 3 weeks. The week before last week, he wasn't even on the show. The last week, barely noticeable what he was doing on the show. He was in a tag team matchup with Seth Rollins. Barely noticeable, like I said. And here tonight, what he did against Jinder Mahal, who the hell cares? Just a minor part of the show. Roman Reigns losing some steam, no momentum on Monday Night Raw. But I guess that's what happens to everybody when they're feuding with Jinder Mahal. Either way, the B Team wins here tonight, and after the match, the B Team begins their latest crazy celebration until the graphic flashes to interrupt, and the Raw Tag Team Champions Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt reveal themselves on the screen. They give the B Team props like only they can, and Wyatt says they're here. They suddenly appear near the stage with mics. The B Team looks on from the ring as Hardy and Wyatt send warnings. Wyatt mentions how they are surrounded by fireflies and they're being watched. They both go on, and Hardy says this is done. When they say it is done, they will eat and delete the B Team. Hardy and Wyatt pose near the entrance as the B Team looks on. This is an irrelevant tag team matchup. I could not care less about anything going on in this segment whatsoever. We move on to Elias and Seth Rollins, and let me tell you, Seth Rollins and Elias, they are not flourishing as far as these segments go for the Intercontinental Championship. I rather see a more creative approach to this, maybe having Seth Rollins in an actual matchup and having Elias interfere, some brutality, some actual reason for these guys to feud, instead of Elias just hitting Seth Rollins in the back with a guitar and WWE playing that goddamn cutscene over and over and over and over and over and over and over again on Monday Night Raw, week after week after week after week after week. Maybe try that for a goddamn change. Seth Rollins excels in the ring, and here tonight it's proven exactly why, because when he's in the ring, he's not being given this garbage that we see each and every single week on Monday Night Raw, of the quality and in the same vein as what we've seen here tonight. This was terrible. And I mean, everything else having to do with overly scripted garbage on this show seems to be terrible. So maybe they should stop overly scripting their superstars. Maybe they should let these guys go out there and display the personality that they actually have within them. But no, that's a far-fetched idea, right? Right? Here is the segment Seth Rollins destroys Elias's prized guitar. Here it is, Monday Night Raw, here tonight.
He's the architect, but he tells us to burn it down. Make up your damn mind, Seth. These are the worst nicknames around. Seth freaking Rollins? Am I supposed to think that's cool? And I get it, you do CrossFit, so I definitely know that you're a tool.
Elias is fantastic.
You're devoid of any talent. You're a disgrace to Monday Night Raw. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if you were born in this toilet of Little Rock, Arkansas.
Elias is great. If there's a highlight on Monday Night Raw, it's Elias.
Gonna squeal like a pig for the whole world to hear. Walking with Elias is the only thing he should fear. So, walk with me, oh Seth, walk with me. I said, walk with me.
That was pretty good.
I wasn't gonna do this tonight, but I've got something I've got to show you all.
What could possibly be next? How do you follow that up, Cole? A second #1 hit.
Take a look at this.
So he shows us a guitar.
Now this was given to me by John Mayer.
Really nice.
This is a thing of beauty. Next week, I am going to play my greatest song yet, and I will have this guitar across my chest and the Intercontinental Championship around my waist.
That sounds pretty awesome. So out comes Seth Rollins to spoil the party, to burn it down.
Did he just say that was custom acoustic and electric? That's a real thing, Coach.
He storms the ring,
Out here to talk.
and Elias tries to assault him,
Going right after Seth Rollins. Clearly, he did not like the song.
but he gets sent over the top.
Hit hard. Oh, my.
And from here on out,
When are you gonna get some guts and stop being such a coward, huh? 2 weeks ago, you sneak up from behind, you smash me with that guitar, and for what? You try to make a name for yourself? Newsflash, dude. I'm not that hard to find. As a matter of fact, I'm in the same spot every Monday night. Right here, the middle of this ring, the Intercontinental Championship on my shoulder, and I'm begging for a fight, man. All you had to do was ask. And you know what the worst part is? I really want to like you. You could be a hit maker, a record baby. You could do it all. You got a cool thing going. You got the spotlight. You got the songs. You got the guitars.
so this starts a little game of Seth Rollins looking at this guitar and teasing breaking it.
You weren't lying. This is really, really nice. I don't want to hurt it. No, I don't want to.
So he stomps the guitar.
That was from one of the great hip-hop artists of our generation. John Mayer isn't hip-hop, dummy. John Mayer, Jay-Z, same thing.
Not
No
really.
one mentioned Jay-Z, Coach. Seth Rollins.
So Seth Rollins breaks the guitar, and I mean, it was a good segment. Now looking back at it, but quite frankly, it went a little long with Seth Rollins trying to break the guitar, and quite frankly, it's not the most it's not at the top of my list, I guess you could say, as far as things that I want to see Seth Rollins doing on Monday Night Raw. But it was a pretty good segment here tonight on Monday Night Raw between Elias. The thing that really pushed that segment over the edge and prevented it from being something that really didn't create much of an impact on Monday Night Raw is the crowd reaction. And that would make a segment like what we saw between Jinder Mahal and Roman Reigns, that would make the world of a difference. If the crowd reaction to Roman Reigns was actually where it needed to be, which WWE has failed at getting the crowd reaction behind Roman Reigns. If it was where it needed to be, then that segment with Jinder Mahal and Roman Reigns, it actually would have meant something, and it actually would have been pushed over the edge by that, because this segment, I mean, how much better was this segment made by the fact that the crowd went crazy for Seth Rollins chanting, "Burn it down, burn it down"? How much better was this segment because the crowd was actually reacting to Elias and respecting what he had to do in the middle of that ring here tonight. But that's just the reasons why this segment was enhanced here tonight by the fact that the crowd is actually responding to this feud and how this feud is actually being done correctly and how the crowd is responding to that. But we move on here to Bayley versus Ruby Riott, and this was a matchup where Ruby Riott wins, and good for Ruby Riott, but it's at the expense of Bayley. And how much longer are things going to be at the expense of Bayley on Monday Night Raw? How much more are we going to have to see Bayley taking L after L after L? Bayley's a loser. Bayley is a loser, and I think this might be more of a spark to have Bayley going to Money in the Bank and screw over Sasha Banks in search of success. I don't know, but I definitely know that what they're doing with Bayley right now, it ain't working, bro. This is god-awful. But you know what was not god-awful? What we saw between Ronda Rousey here tonight and Nia Jax. This was actually something very, very good, and apparently it is not on WWE's YouTube page yet, which is actually very, very unfortunate, because I wanted to play the delivery of Ronda Rousey for you guys here tonight. This was absolutely fantastic what Nia Jax did here tonight. Or what, Ronda Rousey did here tonight. Jonathan Coachman was in the ring. He was talking about the Raw Women's title match at Money in the Bank on Sunday and says, but first, the two participating superstars will face off in this ring here tonight. Coach introduces Ronda Rousey first, and out she comes. Cole and Graves talk about Rousey going into the UFC Hall of Fame later this summer. Coach introduces Raw Women's Champion Nia Jax next, and out she comes to the ring. Jax speaks first and admits she's pushed Rousey's buttons as of late because she wanted to test her. Jax gives some props to Rousey, saying she's beautiful, has a stellar reputation, but she's still very new in WWE. Jax says her success came elsewhere, Strikeforce and UFC, where the rules are very different. Jax says WWE has headbutts, slaps, strikes to the spine, hair-pulling, head-knee strikes while someone is on the ground, and those elbows. Jax says she's done those things and she's had them done to her. It throws you off your game plan. Jax says she's going to show Rousey what she means on Sunday. Rousey says she doesn't plan, she improvises, and she's going to improvise Jax's arm off. Rousey admits she's confident, but she's earned the right to be confident. Some fans pop. Jax says Rousey's first match was impressive, but it was against a businesswoman who is a part-time wrestler. Jax goes on and says she's been here grinding for this for years. She's not Stephanie McMahon. She's Nia Jax, and she's women's champion. Jax says if Rousey wants to take her arm, Jax is going to take her reputation, and she will then be called the real baddest woman on the planet. Jax says she knows she can beat Rousey because at the end of the day, Rousey just isn't ready. So Rousey is laughing now, and she stands up, and this is where things get real intensified from Ronda Rousey's part. Rousey goes on about how people told her she couldn't do various things, but she did them all and then some. People told her she wasn't ready to be UFC champion, and now she's going into the damn Hall of Fame. She yells out and says that she is Ronda Rousey, and she was born ready. Rousey drops the mic, takes her coat off, and turns her attention. Jax also stands up and looks ready to fight. Coach steps to the side. Jax attacks, but Rousey grabs her and blocks it. Jax counters and drops her with a headbutt, and as Jax picks up Rousey, Rousey takes her down into an armbar attempt, and this is where that asterisk that I was talking about comes in, because you have that fantastic delivery from Ronda Rousey, how everybody's told her that she couldn't do things in life. People told her she wasn't ready to go into the Olympics when she was 17, but she went in and she succeeded. That she wasn't ready to go into Strikeforce and challenge for that championship, but she competed and she won. That she wasn't ready to be in the UFC, that she wasn't ready for the UFC heavyweight championship, but she did it. And she's now in the Hall of Fame. And she's Ronda Rousey. And she was born ready. And holy shit, I'm behind her. That was fantastic. And then you have to kick it down. Because what has this entire feud been built around? Stupid or not, what has it been built around? Can Ronda Rousey lock in the armbar on Nia Jax? And here tonight, not only did Ronda Rousey lock in the armbar, but WWE had it so Nia Jax tapped out. Are you kidding me with that result? What sense does that make? Why would you give away your finish? That makes zero sense right there. You just gave away your finish. I mean, you got to be kidding me. This entire feud's entire question, the intrigue around this matchup to the casual viewer has been given away. That makes zero sense. And this is where this show completely falls apart. Nothing makes sense. Did they put any thought into this? Instead of having Ronda Rousey actually kind of tease the armbar and having Nia Jax put her wrists together, lock her arms, and hit a power bomb showing that Ronda can't lock in the armbar, and kind of having it so it's still ambiguity there, because here tonight, Nia Jax got out of it. That presents, can she do it at the pay-per-view? It presents more questioning, despite the fact that that's stupid to begin with, because Asuka had Nia tapping out to an armbar just this past February, like at the Elimination Chamber. But that is besides the point. We're going to throw that to the side, right? But either way, it makes no sense. It makes no sense that you gave away your finish here tonight. And what was otherwise a very good segment, even Nia Jax had some very, very good points against Ronda Rousey here tonight. Despite the fact that what they did promo-wise was very good, you gave away your ending, and WWE had to throw that asterisk in right next to this segment by doing something so stupid that could have so easily been avoided here tonight on Monday Night Raw. So that is my thoughts on that. Ronda Rousey is showing promise, and we've seen what she can do in the ring. She's proved to be very, very good at what she can do in there, and now she's been very well improving on the microphone, and what we saw here tonight shows promise in that area tremendously as well. We go to No Way Jose versus Kurt Hawkins. I'm not even going to talk about this. This was irrelevant. No Way Jose wins here tonight. Kurt Hawkins takes his 201st straight loss. Who gives a crap? I don't even want to talk about this. I really, really don't. Please don't make me. Please don't make me. Oh, damn. I'm going to have to. Sami Zayn sets up an obstacle course for Bobby Lashley. The next goddamn step on this circus show of a goddamn feud. Sami Zayn is fantastic at what he does. He's a great heel, and he's done a great job at least getting the casual audience to respond to him and boo him. And from the crowd reaction that you saw here tonight, they were very much cheering Bobby Lashley. So WWE has accomplished, I cannot lie, they have accomplished what they were achieving as far as that goes. But does this mean that by any means this was good television? No, this was terrible television. You had Sami Zayn come out here tonight. This obstacle course was set up by who, I don't know. Who allowed this to happen, I don't know. Whoever this went through, whoever allowed this to get on television, you should be absolutely terminated, yada, yada, yada. Everything that we say each and every single week. Bobby Lashley is terrible. Sami Zayn has been absolutely ruined by this entire feud, and it is a sad reality. We know the deal with this. But there was a obstacle course set up here tonight. That was the gimmick here tonight for this goddamn feud, and it's sad to think that WWE has put more effort and thought into building this feud and putting things together for this feud like an obstacle course. Yes, that is the best that they can come up with. More effort into this than they've put into building an Intercontinental Championship feud with Elias and Seth Rollins. More effort into this than they've put into building up the Money in the Bank contestants. Instead, they resorted to the lazy option of just putting everybody in a matchup against each other. That makes zero sense whatsoever right there, but that's exactly what they did here tonight in an entire obstacle course. American Ninja Warrior ran through. Of course, that is the show that airs after Monday Night Raw, so I mean you got double dosage of that. But there was a big wheel that apparently weighed 220 pounds that you had to throw over twice. There was this little thing that you had to crawl under. Walls, Mount Jessica, the name of Bobby Lashley's sister, that he had to jump over. Pull-up bars, which he had, or monkey bars, I guess you can say. Yeah, this resembled more of a children's playground than it did an obstacle course. But monkey bars that he had to go through, and a rope that he had to climb like it's high school gym. Bobby Lashley did this all in 40 seconds, and afterwards Sami Zayn used this as a excuse or a opportunity to attack Bobby Lashley, hits him with a haluva kick, and stands tall 1 week before the pay-per-view. Do I care? No. Do you care? No. This is garbage? Yes. Can we move on here? Please, I beg you, because talking about this is literal torture and hell each and every single week. I'm absolutely fed up with this feud. Can't wait for it to end. Don't care what happens at the pay-per-view. The match, whether it's good or not, I have absolutely no idea. Do I care? No, please, get it over with. This show is terrible. I want to jump off a bridge. I want to go to bed. I want to do it all at the same time. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Let's move on here on your Monday Night Raw review. Holy shit, this is terrible. Either way, we move on here from that terrible segment to something that is actually of avail here tonight. Finn Balor versus Braun Strowman versus Kevin Owens versus Bobby Roode. And this is a prime example about how if this show was 2 hours, look at how much better this show would be. You'd have 30 minutes for this Finn Balor versus Braun Strowman versus Kevin Owens versus Bobby Roode Fatal 4-Way. You'd have 30 minutes for your women's Fatal 4-Way. And then you throw in, I don't know, the Seth Rollins segments. That's 15 minutes. And I guess you can throw in the Roman Reigns segments. That is 15 minutes, and you're rid of this Bobby Lashley, Sami Zayn garbage. You're rid of all the other filler on this goddamn show, and that's an hour and a half of great content, 30 minutes of commercial, and you're set for Monday Night Raw. That was actually a pretty good show here tonight on Monday Night Raw. 2 pretty great matches, and a cool segment between Elias and Seth Rollins, and the only shit or mediocreness on the show was Jinder Mahal and Roman Reigns. Whatever, let's move on to the next week, and then the next week we can throw Drew McIntyre, Dolph Ziggler in there. We can focus a little bit more on the tag team, yada yada yada, blah blah blah. We can have some promo packages for whatever we're going to see at Money in the Bank. Not everybody needs to be on the show, and the show was 2 hours. It'd be absolutely so much better, but instead the show is 3 hours. It drags on. There's a bunch of filler, and there's a bunch of unentertaining garbage that is put on each and every single week that it is allowed to go on this show. Everybody's asleep, nobody's tuning in, and it is the most terrible television product that you can find on all of television in 2018. Wow! This is, I don't even know where I found that sprite of energy right there, but that is besides the point. That is besides the point, because this was actually some good stuff, and there's no credit to be taken away from Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, or not Kevin Owens, Braun Strowman, Finn Balor, and Bobby Roode. They put on a hell of a matchup here tonight, and most of this matchup was centered around taking out the big man, Braun Strowman, and that's exactly what needed to happen here tonight. It made Braun Strowman look like a very viable force, and for the first 10 minutes of this matchup, he was kicking everybody's buttocks in here tonight. But they did manage to take over, and that was when they hit an impressive spot. They got Braun Strowman through triple team on top of the announcer's table, and Kevin Owens got on top of a ladder, and he did a frog splash from the top of that ladder onto the announce table. That eliminated Braun Strowman, allowed it to be more of a triple threat aspect. Of course, Braun Strowman made his way back into that matchup, where it once again became a target to take out Braun Strowman. There was a great pace in this matchup, where it was Finn Balor who hit the coup de grace on Braun Strowman. That was broken up by Bobby Roode, who hit the glorious DDT. That was broken up by Kevin Owens, who hit the frog splash, and Braun Strowman somehow manages to kick out. So that brings everybody else into the matchup. Somehow Braun Strowman clears the ring, and Kevin Owens manages to get a power slam onto a ladder. Big finish right there. And it is Braun Strowman who ends the show here tonight as the victor. Braun Strowman looked like a monster, looked good before Money in the Bank, and probably will look good in the Money in the Bank ladder match itself. This gives him momentum, and quite frankly, Braun Strowman is in a position that he should not be in, a terrible position where he's probably going to be the one shafted for the Universal Championship, when he's putting on great stuff, when they're making him look like a monster, when he is one of the most legitimate people, the most legitimate person on Monday Night Raw to go against Brock Lesnar. They're probably going to shaft him for the big dog, for the big failure that is Roman Reigns, and it sucks because performances like what he did here tonight really show you that this guy is good at what he does, and yet he is being shafted for the less over, for the less entertaining, for the one who's less good at his job because of the corporate agenda, Roman Reigns. So, I mean, Braun Strowman picks up the victory here tonight, which leads me to believe that he's not going to be winning at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. But then again, whoever thought that was going to be the result? My prediction there, well, we'll reveal that on the preview and predictions coming this Thursday. Because for now, that's going to be it for your Monday Night Raw review. But of course, I want to tell you guys that you guys should have waited all the other content. I'm sorry if I'm stumbling over my words. I'm absolutely tired here, and I'm trying to get out of here. But of course, I just want to tell you guys to await all the content. Smackdown Live review coming tomorrow. Preview and predictions for Money in the Bank on Thursday. Preview and predictions for NXT TakeOver Chicago on Friday. Reviewing results for NXT TakeOver Chicago on Saturday, as well as Behind the Mic. Sunday, Money in the Bank review, capping off a big 7-video week. You can expect it all right here on the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel. No better chance to subscribe, so make sure to hit that subscribe button. Make sure to click that notification bell to get all those notifications straight to your mobile device. Make sure to like, dislike if you want. Comment on this video if you enjoy everything that you're hearing here. And damn, for now, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for supporting the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel. Comment, Instagram, Twitter, you already know the deal. Because for now, finally, I'm tired of talking about this garbage. For now, this has been Joel Perez of Ringside Wrestling Entertainment. And for now, I am out of here. Thank you very much for watching this video. For now, I will see you next time right here on your Monday Night Raw reviews and on the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel. Thank you guys for watching this video. I had a lot of fun making it.